Hello everyone, this is Dr. Sudeep Mandal. I am working as an assistant professor in the Department of Sciences and Humanities at Vignan's Foundations for Science, Technology and Research. So today I am going to discuss about a topic which is called fuel cells, which is there in the engineering chemistry A syllabus in the unit 3. So I have divided this topic in two modules. In the first module I am going to discuss about the invention of fuel cells, components and working principle of fuel cells. So in fuel cells, basically it needs fuels and oxidants. So it is having huge applications in the current scenario, like we use fuel cells for the satellite launch vehicle, we use for the automobiles like electric bus, electric car, right? So it's having basically huge application due to the current energy demand. So let us see. So before going to the topic, I'll explain about the what is the aim of this and what is the outcomes you will get from that. So aim of this topic is to understand the components involved in the construction and the components involved in the construction of fuel cells, then working principle of the fuel cell, then what are the electrochemical reactions. So that is the redox reactions which are occurring at each electrode of the fuel cells, and what are the applications of the fuel cells. So these are the things we are going to see. So that is the aim of this topic. And what are the outcomes you will get? So you will able to understand the working principle of different types of fuel cells. Then you have another outcomes, which is we can able to analyze the different electrochemical reactions which are occurring at each electrode electrolyte interface in the fuel cell. And the third outcomes is you will able to use the knowledge and operational procedure, right, or the process, including their pros and cons, that is like advantages and disadvantages for the real field applications. So these are the outcomes you will get after end of these two modules. So I am going to cover, these are the topics for the first module. So I will cover the introduction and I will talk about the little bit about the invention of fuel cells and how the name of the fuel cells came. Then I will discuss about the types or the classifications of the fuel cells. Then construction of the fuel cells, that means what are the components are involved to construct the fuel cells, and the working principles of the fuel cell. Now the fuel cell, it is first invented by Sir William Grove in 1838. So what he knew that, so if water could be split into hydrogen and oxygen by sending electricity, that means you have water, you want to split it, hydrogen, that is gas, and oxygen, gas. So you have to use some electricity or some kind of energy, right? That means you are breaking the bonds between the hydrogen and oxygen. So it is forming hydrogen and oxygen gases. Now what he thought, what we can do if we combine these two gases and do the reverse reaction. So what will happen? So if you combine hydrogen and oxygen gas and if you can get the water, so that means what will happen? So this hydrogen and oxygen will react and it will form water, and as well as you will get the heat or you can get electricity, right? So the reverse concept he has hypothesized, right? So that is the thing, he has hypothesized that reversing the procedure you could produce electricity and water, right? Then he created a primitive fuel cells and that he called it as a gas voltaic battery, right? Now why it is called voltaic cell and all, I will discuss that, why it is called voltaic cell. And so after 50 years, there are two scientists, Ludwig Mond and Charles Langer, they have coined this term as a fuel cell. So that's how the fuel cell name it came, right? So what is fuel cell? So fuel cell is an electrochemical energy conversion system which converts the chemical energy stored in the fuels and the oxidants into the electrical energy, right? So let us see first this electrochemical energy conversion system. So in the last unit, that is unit 2, which is basically the electrochemistry units, we have studied about the different electrochemical systems, right? So if you have the electrochemical system, so that you can divide it into 2, that is called galvanic cell. So as I said in the last slide, I will discuss that galvanic cell and electrolytic cell, right? So the galvanic cells means it will give the energy. That means one of the energy will be converting to electrical energy. So here it is chemical energy converting to electrical energy. That means it is work done by the system. So you are getting energy. But in case of electrolytic cells, you have to give the energy to work on the system, right? So the fuel cell is an example of electrochemical energy conversion system, or you can call it as a galvanic system, right? So which converts the chemical energy stored into the fuels and oxidants. So basically fuel cell means, so you need a fuel, so that fuel need to be oxidized using oxidant. So that's what I am telling, you need to fuel an oxidant to do the oxidation. So this oxidant mostly we use oxygen, right? So this is what about the electrochemical energy conversion system. So we are converting one energy to other energy by electrochemically, right? So the fuel cell is a device that generates electricity by a chemical reaction. So those chemical reactions are occurring at each electrodes. So there are 2 electrodes, that is called the negative electrode and the positive electrode. So also you can call it as a cathode and anode. So this is the concept is coming from the galvanic cell. So there we can call it negative electrode as a anode and positive electrode as a cathode, right? Because we call it as a anode, as a negative electrode, because where the electrons are coming out, right? So that is the concept you must have studied in the last unit, right? And more specifically, it is an electrochemical device that combines the hydrogen and oxygen, for example, and produce the electricity with water and heat. So in general way, if you take the fuel, right, then oxygen, then we get the oxidation products and electricity. For example, you take hydrogen plus oxygen, then you get the water, right? So plus electricity, right? So that's how the fuel cell it is. So here I will play some video. So why we do need the fuel cell? So if you use the fossil fuels, their chemical energy is converting to electrical energy through the mechanical energy. The efficiency is basically 30%. Now if you are using that fossil fuels, you are generating some toxic gases like carbon monoxide, which is very poisonous, and some greenhouse gas, the carbon dioxide. So basically you are polluting the environment. Now if you use the fuel cell, so it converts the chemical energy to the electricity through some electrochemical reactions at each electrode, and the efficiency of fuel cell is 60%, which is higher than the fossil fuels. So what is happening here? You are combining the hydrogen and oxygen and getting the water through a exothermic reactions. So that's why you are getting the heat out of it, right? So this is called the activation energy barrier. So because of that is called the energy you need to give to carry out the reactions, right? So now some of the points I will mention why do you need the fuel cell. So due to the issue of the global warming. So this global warming is coming because of the carbon dioxide from the fossil fuels, right? And due to the unavailability of different renewable sources. The renewable sources such as you have solar cells, right? Then you have wind energy, right? Then you have the hydro electricity, right? So these are the different source of renewable sources. So but there are different geographic conditions are there where you cannot use all the facilities. So in that case, you need to have some renewable sources which you can use it for getting the electricity. So the fuel cell is the good option to use that, right? The third point is the fuel cell provides an alternate, efficient, non-polluting power source. Why it is non-polluting? Because if you consider hydrogen fuel cell, suppose hydrogen fuel cell, so where you are using hydrogen and oxygen, and finally you are getting water plus electricity, right? So you can see that as a product you are getting only water, there is no polluting gases or any other substances. So that's why it is a alternate, efficient, non-polluting power source, and also that produces no noise and has no moving parts. So it's a basically stationary system. So if you want to install in a home or in a building, so this is the one of the good option to get the electricity out of it, right? So let us go to the classifications of the fuel cells. So we can classify the fuel cells in different way. So the first one is based on the temperature range, so in which they operate. So you have the various temperature range, like 25 to 100 degrees Celsius, or have the medium temperature range, that is 100 to 500 degrees Celsius, and also high temperature range, that is 500 to 1000 and also more than 1000, right? And based on that, based on types of electrolytes, also you can classify different types of fuel cell, such as alkaline fuel cells, where you use the alkaline electrolytes such as KOH. Then phosphoric acid fuel cell, which is like phosphoric acid we use as electrolyte, H3PO4. Then molten carbonate fuel cell. Then polymer electrolyte. So this is some kind of polymer or polymer electrolyte membrane which we use as electrolyte, or solid polymer fuel cell, or proton exchange membrane fuel cell. This is another type. And the last one is basically solid oxide fuel cells. Now can I correlate these other types of fuel cell with this temperature range? So basically alkaline fuel cells, it works under 25 to 100 degrees Celsius. So the alkaline fuel cells works between 25 to 100 degrees Celsius. Now what about this one, the high temperature range? So basically solid oxide fuel cells, so we can call it as SOFC. So this works actually between 800 to 1100 degrees C, right? And the medium temperature means we can call it as some of the molten or the phosphoric acid fuel cells, it works between the 100. So phosphoric acid fuel cells, it works between 100 and 500 degrees Celsius, right? So these are the different types of electrolyte you can use. Based on that you can classify the fuel cells, and that you can correlate with the temperature range. Now based on the types of fuels and oxidants, so if you use different fuels and different oxidants, again you can classify the different types of fuel cell. So if I use fuels as a hydrogen and oxidant as a oxygen, so mostly we use oxidant as the air or the oxygen directly. So other than oxygen, you can also use hydrogen peroxide or ozone. So these also are used as oxygen, as an oxidant in the fuel cell, right? And different fuels such as hydrogen rich gas, right, such as you can use methane, then you can use ammonia as a fuel, synthesis gas, then hydrocarbon like methane, ethane and all. It looks like same both are. Then you have the alcohol air fuel cell like such as methanol and oxygen fuel cell, right? So this is, so in your syllabus these two are there, hydrogen oxygen fuel cell and one of the alcohol air fuel cell, which is methanol oxygen fuel cell, right? So this is one of the example I given the schematic represent of the hydrogen oxygen fuel cells, where you are purging hydrogen at the anode side and oxygen at the cathode side, and finally you are getting out the water. So I will go more details in that whenever I will discuss about the hydrogen oxygen fuel cell. Now another types or classification we can do based on the physical state of the fuel, such as if you are using gaseous fuel like hydrogen or lower hydrocarbon, and if you are using the liquid fuels like alcohols, hydrogen and all, right, and also you can use the solid like metals, those. So depending on the physical state of the fuel, you can also classify the fuel cells. And the last, not the least, that is two types of fuel cell you can call for a general purpose, that is called the primary fuel cells, where reactants are passed through the cell only once. So just remember, whenever you are passing the fuels only once in the fuel cell and you cannot reuse it, so that is called the primary fuel cells. The example for this is hydrogen oxygen fuel cells, because out of that you are getting water. That means you cannot reuse it because you cannot reverse the reaction. I mean in that cell basically. Secondary fuel cell is reactants are passed through the cell in the multiple times. So you can do many times and you can pass the fuels and the oxidants many times, then you can call it as a secondary fuel cell, and basically that those fuels and oxidant you can regenerate it by different methods. So the example for this cell is nitric acid and chloride fuel cell. This is the example for the secondary fuel cell. So what are the components involved to construct a fuel cell? So mostly you have total 4 components as given in the scheme. So we call it as a 2 electrode. One is anode, that is the negative electrode, and cathode, that is positive electrode. So these 2 electrodes should be electronically conducting. So it should conduct electrons. It should be highly electronically conducting. Then the third component is the electrolyte. So the electrolyte, I have given the classifications, right? So different types of electrolytes you can use, right? So either you can use the liquid electrolyte, like you can use like alkali, KOH, or you can use H2SO4 like acidic and alkaline based electrolyte, or even you can use the membrane. So like some of the membrane or aqueous based, this is the one of the example I given. This is called the Nafion based membrane, which you can use as a separator or the electrolyte. Through that some of the ions can pass through, right? And the last, not the least, it's a very important component is the catalyst, right? So with this catalyst basically are coated on the electrode surface. So this is the electrode, one more electrode we use, that is called graphite foil. So on that we basically coat the catalyst, like carbon based catalysts are different, like platinum, ruthenium based catalyst, we coat on that graphite foil and put on the top of these, and these lines are basically this is called flow. So the gas will flow through that, right? So this role of the catalyst is to bring down the activation energy of the each electrochemical reaction. So the catalyst is having a very important role in the fuel cells, right? So those what happens, so the electrochemical reactions, those are happening on the surface of the catalyst. So you need to coat that catalyst on the surface of the electronically conducting graphite foil. Then whatever the fuels or oxidants will be passing through the fuel cells, those electrochemical reactions will be occurring at the surface of the electrodes, and by which at the end of it we will get the electricity. So you have understood there are 4 components: anode, cathode, electrolyte and catalyst. So these are the 4 components you need to remember, and these electrodes are electronically conducting, and the electrolyte which is ionically conducting. That means it is not the electronically conducting. Ionically conducting means it can only allow certain ions throughout the electrolyte. So in the solution, or it is in membrane, suppose in H plus ions are moving, or it is diffusing, or OH minus ions are diffusing, through that you can balance the electrochemical reactions, right? So what is the working principles of the fuel cells? So here you can see that small animation I have given here is the example for the hydrogen oxygen fuel cells. So how hydrogens and oxygens are being purged in the fuel cells, and the electrochemical reactions are occurring at the electrode surface, and you are getting out the water as an exhaust, right? So what is happening? So at the anode, the fuel, right? So that is direct hydrogen, okay, or reformed hydrogen undergoes oxidation. So at the anode oxidation occurs. So if you pass the hydrogen through the anode, so your hydrogen becomes, so it is the gas form, it becomes H plus, right, plus 2 electron. So that is the oxidation process at the anode. Next, what is happening? Then what happens? These electrons will be coming out from this side. So from the anode to the cathode through the external circuit. These electrons flow through the external circuit to the cathode. Then those electrons will be collected by the cathode, and that electrons will be helping oxygen to be reduced, right? Then those electrons will be collected by the oxidant, which is oxygen, right? Then that will get reduced. So you will have basically oxygen gas, then it will take the electrons, right? 2 electrons are coming out, then it will become O2 minus, right? So that is the basic reactions which is occurring at the cathode, that is the reduction process, right? So at finally what is happening? The electrons produce the electricity while passing through the external circuit. So while it is passing through the external circuit, it is also producing the electricity out of it. So this is the basic working principles which is occurring any basic like fuel cell. So what are the summary? I'll finish. I'll summarize this module. So I have talked about the introduction. In that we talked about how the fuel cells name came here, invention of the fuel cells. Then what are the types and classifications of the fuel cells, right? And so these topics over, and the construction of fuel cell, what are the components are involved that we have discussed, and the basic working principles of the fuel cells we have discussed. Now these are the remaining topic. I am going to cover it in the next module, right? So if you have any questions from this module, you can free to write me in this email ID sudeepmondal.chem@gmail.com or drs_sh@vignan.ac.in. Thank you.